Hey everyone, welcome to Crossroad Conversations with the Lewis Brothers, where we aim to share real stories about running a successful family business, working through adversity, and pouring back into the community that keeps our door open. We're your hosts, Matt, Shelby, and Taylor, and we bring you relevant local business advice and automotive insights that are sure to change the way you look at running a business, and maybe even throw in a plug for you to do business with us.
It really is. All right, when trust is broken. All right, so let's take the other flip side. We talked about how to build trust, some key factors and some takeaways for you guys on how to build the trust. Now let's talk about when it's broken, because it could happen.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when I talked earlier about when you have somebody, let's say at the first level of employees, and you said, yes, I'll give you the time, but you know in the back of your brain that it's not going to be at the top of the priority because you have all these other high-level decisions to make. You might break trust there. And then you got to put those blocks back together. So the first one, and you already said this, but we'll dive in deeper to it: overpromising and underdelivering.
Yeah, that happens so often, especially as a new leader or just a people pleaser, or it generally will self-regulate itself because you'd be like, oh my gosh. I keep wondering, like, where does this come from? Why is this? And why is this? And it's because you overpromise. Your team overpromise. And so when you see those things, you have to learn in those situations. And so understanding overpromising versus underdelivering, it should be completely backwards. Underpromise and overdeliver. And that's nothing new. People hear that all the time, but hearing it and knowing it and then doing it and living it out are two completely different things. And so understand your role or the role of the leader, what they should be promising, and then what systems do you have? Because we all have things that we forget. You know, we all get busy, but do you have a backup system? Are you a list person? You know, are you a online? Are you a reminder person? Do you use the CRM? Whatever it is, just use it and make sure you got a little bit of Mack truck theory that someone's following up with you to make sure that you did what you said you were going to do.
I think that's good. And what I do want to point out is I don't think anybody ever intentionally overpromises.
No.
I don't think they do. They do because they're a people pleaser. I find myself, I have a habit of trying to jam 90 minutes worth of productivity into 60 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if it takes 15 minutes when I leave my house to get somewhere, I'm not going to leave until 15 minutes because I'm like, I get these other two tasks done. But then if I hit traffic or hit this or that, then I'm over and I overpromised.
It's the age-old fashion that you might see online that says when you're having your family over for Christmas or for dinner, and your wife is making sure everything's ready, and you decide it's time to power wash the back driveway.
It's a good idea.
Or cut the tree down that's need to be cut down for 15 years, right?
So I do that, and then I have a family member that shows up an hour and a half early, and I'm mad at them for showing up early because I was trying to get the rest of this done. Maybe I'm on an island by myself.
No.
But
no, that's what some guys do.
So I think it's
or you're in traffic and you knew it was going to take 15 minutes and somebody's driving slow and you're so mad at them.
I'm so mad at them.
You're mad at them.
You should be mad at yourself.
You should be driving. You didn't plan for anything, right? So
I know. And then my wife gets mad at me and the kids see a bad example of me and, you know, all the rest of it because I've overpromised.
Yeah.
You know.
Didn't plan and go through there.
Yep.
And it's so easy to do. We talked about young management. Even me transitioning from the store, I'm probably the one that most recently came through this. But at our old location, I could handle basically all of it in the sales process of problems with service, of anything coming up through. And I had to learn whenever we transitioned over here, I had to start being quiet and really just observe and realize that I didn't have to help with everything because I needed a team to be able to grow underneath me and to be able to teach them and grow. So don't sit here thinking I never overpromise. I did it. They both have done it, and growing through the careers. And it happens in that early stage that you start to get, just a whole lot of confidence of I can continue to do this, and you hit capacity level, and then it starts going a different direction.
I'm going to take the other side of it for just a second because we have all different ages and all different stages of careers listening. You may be early on in management or you may be early on building. That's a different stage, and you need to say yes to as many opportunities as you can.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you may be at a desk or in a management position where there's not other managers. You've got to be involved to build that trust in your employees.
Yep.
But at some point in time, you have to fire your old self. But you don't fire your old self before you get to that stage, you know. And if you think about, like, you know, early on in my career, it was, hey, every opportunity to speak somewhere or to be involved, it was yes, yes, yes. And then you hit a threshold and you start carving some of those out.
Because what you'll realize will happen, and most of the time they don't tell you, but sometimes they do, and it smacks you in the face. A lady at church the other day that's been a customer for ages. She's like, "Hey, I didn't hear back from you," which sometimes is not my strong suit, right?
Mhm.
And with no excuses, but plenty of good ones if you wanted them. Uh, was like, "Hey, we have this fundraiser going, da da da," and I said, "We're always interested." I said, "But can I tell you something?" She's like, "Yeah, please." I said, "I'm not the best at that." I said, "I have a team that is outstanding." I said, "I need to give you their email address and their contact because they are so much better. They're so much more available to be at the event, to bring all the things that we want to, and they are a better extension of me than I am."
Mhm.
I said, "So that is completely my fault, and I take full responsibility for not transferring to them. Let me get you their contact so it does not fall through the cracks there."
That's good.
You know, because
That's really good.
that's one of those things that everyone wants to talk to the highest level, yet they're not always gonna get the best
No.
experience because it does have the possibility to fall through the cracks there that, you know, they want the highest level when I could give them another level that is gonna give them way more knowledge about it and way more time and attention and can give them what's necessary, but everyone always asks for this, and it's like, well, they don't know how to make the cheeseburger. They don't know how to
Mhm.
program the thermostat. They don't know how to set up the hot tub. Let me get you to my specialist in that area.
I would say that the next part here about losing transparency. You know, we talked about transparency a little bit earlier on about wins and losses with transparency. And I'll tell you a layer that we integrated in about transparency, and it really helped manage, you know, when we set up above when we were talking about, you know, when you need to be honest. This is a way to be honest without being confrontational.
Mhm.
Transparency, as we've grown, we have a whole lot more KPIs and a whole lot more metrics we look at.
Mhm.
So it's very transparent, you know, especially our managers. If it's our weekly doc meetings that we have 3 times a week that are quick, 10-15 minute meetings, everything's very transparent there. Where you stand, what your daily travel rate is, what you need to accomplish. If it's our manager meetings on Monday where we go over, how's your team been productive? Here's the printout of the facts. It's very transparent and honest about how your production's been. And that is a much better way to lead where it's not confrontational, but it's right out there where you are. And it's never one single person. And the reason being is we have entire peers, whether it's finance managers, salespeople, service advisors, our new parts Top Gun deal, where it's transparent against their other peers and not in their own silo.
Yeah, and thinking of that, but on the complete other side, so we serve people, right? And so oftentimes we talk about losing transparency. And so we talk about Numa that we use for text messaging to customers because our number one complaint, everyone's number one complaint is lack of communication.
Hmm.
Right? And service is the highest level of frequency of people in the dealership. So think about that in your business. What's the highest level of frequency in its communication? So what if we order a part wrong or they send us the wrong part or we misdiagnosed it? More often than not, where you start losing transparency is when we've messed up and you try to fix it before going to the customer and telling them what happened. How you continue to have trust and build transparency or through transparency is communicating that.
Hmm.
And so before they ask, hey, can I get a status update? As soon as you find something wrong, you need to be very, and this is how you keep trust. Shoot them a quick message. Hey, Mrs. Smith, just want to let you know parts did come in this morning. However, and please hear this. We think this is like we wake up and it's tattooed to our forehead, but just yesterday we were talking about it. Take 1000% responsibility on yourself. Mrs. Smith, I wanted to let you know parts came in this morning. Somehow, I take full responsibility. The part is not the correct part we need to fix your car. I've got with parts. They have found the correct part, and I've triple checked that. We have an emergency ordered, and I could possibly have it today, but if worst case scenario, it'll be here tomorrow. I apologize, but I just want to let you know in advance what's going on. I'll give you an update if anything changes before then. If not, I'll check out with you tomorrow first thing. Works for you, right? Because more often than not, we try to fix it before, like we're kids, right? We broke something at home. We got to fix it before dad gets home. And so then the result will be better because it's already fixed. No, dad just wanted to know, did we take responsibility and were we transparent about it? Can he trust us?
There is a key point in what Shelby just went over. And most people will say, yes, I did that. I communicated with a customer that the wrong part came in. We got the right part. We're going to get it fixed. We apologize. But there's a key piece, and it's pivotal on how a customer sees it, is when did you deliver that message? Did you deliver that message before it ever came up? Or did you deliver that message when the customer called in to check status of their vehicle or their repair, whatever industry you're in? It must be done before the customer reaches out. If the customer reaches out, you've already failed on that.
Yeah.
You said the same thing, but timing was everything.
Mm-hmm.
Timing was everything. All right. Let's get y'all's thoughts on this. How silence or avoidance damages trust faster than making mistakes. So think about that, of like not addressing something or just being silent, thinking, hey, it'll work itself out or they'll figure it out. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, I'm done.
Yeah, that's the easy thing to do. That's complete human nature of wanting to, that's, avoiding confrontation that we talked about. And maybe that's the last straw that an employee's looking at you. It says, okay, we'll see how he handles this situation. And you don't do anything. And you're not intentionally thinking, hey, I'm really sweeping that under the rug. It's not the most important thing on my schedule right now, so I'm not going to get it. But in that employee's eyes, that was the utmost importance, and you didn't take the time to be able to address it. Whether it was long, sitting down for a long time, or a quick talk about it, you have to address it right then and there. It's so important. A lot of times that is what's detrimental, and you'll lose a good team member and you wonder why. It's because something so simple like that.
I think something else that, and this isn't even on here, but I think this is important because we're talking about trust, and we all can get in this cycle of, especially if you're long in your career. So it's easy for me, being back in the store for over 20 years now, to go, hey, that first 10 years or 5 years ago or 15 years ago, I was involved. Everybody knew and they saw how I worked and how I helped those people and this and that. And you think, okay, I've paid my dues here. Now that will last for 30 more years. But you get a whole new group of people that come, they have no clue about that. I've been reminded about that about employees before. Some employees that have worked for us for a long time. And then they get to this point of feeling like that they're owed everything. It's like, no, we paid you for that. We appreciate that. But then every day stands on its own.
Yeah.
You have to prove yourself again today. You got to prove to your team again today that you're here to help them get their goals and that you can be trusted.
That's so important.
It's not necessarily what you say or how you act. It's your character.
Mm-hmm.
It's your character, and your character is an everyday thing, right? And sometimes it'll be better and a worse version of your true character, but it is a daily thing to make sure your demeanor. It's not like, I know this is the right thing to say and I should say it, but then my character is something completely different. No, your
Exactly.
character needs to become the right way to do something, and the transparent and the trust building. And then you really, 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 really become that, right? But it can't be like you're just doom and gloom and then you answer the phone at a whole different level. You have to be programmed to become that, right? If that's what you want, if that's what you signed up for.
Sports is really the easiest thing. I know we relate a lot to it, but sports is it's business. Really, it is. When you get to the NFL, it's business.
Yeah.
And it's very transparent, and everybody's head's kind of on a chopping block.
Yeah.
But think about this. If the team won the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl, the next season, they still got to earn the right to win the Super Bowl. because everybody's after them.
You just got more eyeballs on you, right?
That's it.
Right?
Just because you won it 3 or 4 times doesn't mean it's automatic. You got to get out there and prove yourself again.
It's no different than selling a car to a repeat customer.
Mhm.
Do not take that for granted, right? You earn the responsibility or the ability to
Yeah,
say,
you get the
hey,
opportunity.
I still want to try to take care of you, but you still need to, in your character,
Mhm.
take care of them the same way that you had to earn them. It's no different than in your marriage, right?
That's right.
When you attracted that person or you were, kindled that relationship, you still need to do that every single day. It's not like, all right, now we're married and I can do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to continue to earn and build that trust.
I talked about this in the sales meeting yesterday, and I love this story. Y'all have different versions of this story of customers that you've done business with over the years, but great customer, high school buddy, have done a whole lot of business with him. We're working on trucks, this last truck that he'd got, and we're looking at trading him out of a truck and putting him into a different one and looking at some used. And I said, hey, this is a structure we need to look at. He drove a whole lot of miles, was in um inequitable situation in his trade, but I said, hey, you need to do this. I was helping him out in his trade, everything I could do was all the money, thought I'd taken care of him there. I said, you need to save here. We're going to order you a truck. This will give you opportunity to be able to save for a big down payment, do whatever you want to do. We'll get you the truck you want. So, okay, great. So a couple months later, we were having dinner and he's like, hey, I just want to tell you thank you. I was like, for what? And he said, for always taking care of me. And I said, yeah, man, absolutely. He said, well, I don't even want to tell you, but I went and shopped my trade whenever we had talked last time. You were way over everyone else. My first response was like, you shopped the trade. And then secondly, I was like, you bet, man. That's why I always take care of you. And so I was talking to the salesman and I was like, you think just because you sold aunt or uncle, or if it's your mom or grandma or whoever it would be, your aunt, cousin, I said, it comes down to what makes sense to them, that you bring value and you take care of.
Yep.
So it's a great reminder every time, no matter what your level of closeness is, they're always going to check you, and you should be thankful for that. Don't take offense to it.
That's such a great reminder that, you get the opportunity. And that's what we talked about, the opportunity, not the
Yes.
guarantee of the sale.
No,
If you got repeat customers, or if you've done it with a business, or no different than us, last name being Lewis in the business, we got the opportunity, but you still got to prove your worth there. All right, I got a quick question for each one of y'all. In your opinion, what usually breaks trust first? Is it actions or communications? Now, I'll tell you, it could be both. It could be both.
I was gonna
but
say.
but I want you to
want me to say?
just pick one of the two, because there's not a wrong answer, and say, hey, I think what's first comes to your mind, Taylor, what usually breaks first, actions or communication?
I think it's actions, because I think actions speak louder than words. But I think it's really close to it, but
Yeah.
actions.
Shelby?
I'll go the other way just because communication, right? No matter what the action is, if you didn't communicate well enough about it, then it's gonna have the same effect.
I would say both of y'all had, it's not even in here, but both of y'all had the right answer because you paused, because both go hand in hand. You know that your actions, 70% of communication is nonverbal, which are actions,
Yeah.
but you need to communicate because people can't read your mind. So both of those go hand in hand. That was great discussion on just when trust is broken. Hey, thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to give it a like, share it with your friends and family, visit our website, and send us some questions. We want to know what you'd like to hear, who you'd like to hear from, and what you want to see, or maybe even some questions for us to answer about either the automotive industry or just business in general.